So now that you've had the welcome speech, and I want to jump into the orientation and briefly give you a rundown of the class and show you what it looks like, and just to give you some direction on where to start. First of all, I want to look at anything that we cover today, that everything's a resource. So the things that are here that are available to you are available anytime you want to go back and refer to them. You can always step back, so if you have questions on stuff, you don't have to necessarily wait to talk to me. You can go back, and almost everything that you need to know is going to be within in the orientation modules. So think of it that way. But if you once you click into the class, you'll see here, I'm in the student view. There's a few things I leave open for you to have access. One are, of course, our home page here. I try to make it a little colorful since Canvas, unfortunately, doesn't let you do anything exciting inside the modules. It's pretty boring looking, but so I put a little color on the main page for you, kind of get you excited about the class. Uh, and then below there are the modules, and that's obviously the most important part. And so are the assignments. Of course, for you, the grade page here is all here for you to link into. Tutoring, if you need additional tutoring, if we need to have an embedded tutor, let me know, and I'll be happy to order one for class. The library database, so if you need to do research, you can go through and use the library database for that. And then Starfish, which if you're having any struggles or issues, Starfish is the mechanism how we get you help if you need help or struggling in class or other stuff. Okay, real quickly before I get to the module, I'll show you real quickly the assignments page. So in here, basically, are all the assignments for the class. All the quizzes and discussions are all laid out in here for you. And so basically, I try to make sure you have multiple ways to access, and you can access them either directly here or inside the modules page, which is where I expect probably most of you will access them. You notice here the dates are due, the due dates are here uh, for all the assignments and when they come available. So you can see when things open up and when they're going to be available for you to access. And one thing about the quizzes, I will tell you, it's important to note that I don't want anybody flying all the way through the quizzes and not giving them, letting up, the students, other students have a chance to dialogue and respond to your discussions. I've had students who've been pretty zealous sometimes who've tried to knock out all the discussion questions right away, and that's a big no-no to me, and I made them go back and stop because it's really only important that you cover the one for that week, and try to make sure you're on top of that and do it really well, as opposed to trying to do all of them and get done quickly. I'm a big fan of quality of work, not quantity of work. So I don't assign a lot of stuff, but what I do assign you, I expect it to be done really, really well. So do please keep that in mind. And even though I'm a little more forgiving in the early discussions as you're getting used to it, I get pretty strict by the time we get to this third or fourth discussion about what I expect from you and the detail of information that I look for from you, not only in your response to me and my initial questions or those things, but also to your classmates. Because I've had students sometimes that'll respond and give me a nice big paragraph long response and then give like one sentence to their other classmates. And then they wonder why their grade isn't good. I'm saying, well, because I expect that same paragraph or nearly that for your response to your classmates and their comments. So do keep that in mind that I'm really I get tougher as the weeks go by with regard to this because it's a big, big chunk of your grade. The quizzes are there for you to basically make sure you're covering the readings. Uh, Again, that's a really important component of the class, which I'll discuss later when we get to the module. Um, Speaking of the module, let's just go there now. So, I try to keep things very well organized in the class. So I think it helps you and it also helps me. So from the very beginning, here's your attendance check-in, which you have to do right away. Don't delay on this unless you're not sure you're going to take the class. And then at that point, you can either decide to drop it or whatever you're going to do, because if I don't see you complete this by the end of the first week, I will drop you from the class because I'd have people waiting on the crash list who want to get into the class. And if you don't complete the basic stuff that says, hey, Professor Epps, I'm in the class, I want to stay in the class, then I will drop you and let somebody else in. So please note that, okay? That needs to be done like right away once you figure out you want to take the class. My office hours link is right here for you, so you can figure out when you want to see me. I'm here every Wednesday in person live. So even though these are online classes that you're in, you can don't worry, you can always see me and live if you want to stop by the office, or you can, set up an appointment with me. We can do it via Zoom. We can do it during phone call or even through email. So I'm a big fan of communication. If something's going on in your life you need to talk to me about, or you're not getting stuff done, do not wait to the last minute or after the fact to tell me. There's a lot that I don't, I can't help after as much as I can help when before things really blow up. So if something's going on, you need to let me know like ASAP. Okay, I really expect that from you. Okay, and then from there we jump into the orientation modules. And the orientation modules really basically these are your resource modules that you can refer back to throughout the class as you're looking up stuff. And they're set up basically the same way. You have your welcome, which is the video you will have already seen, and then the orientation video, what you're looking at now, you'll be looking at now is right below there. The orientation to-do list, the things you need to accomplish for the first week of class, which basically is this, basically the going through the modules and doing the check-in and doing the getting to know each other discussion. Those are the things you got to get done in that first week. Also, a resource here is the academic calendar, which basically tells you when the holidays are for the spring semester, so you have an idea when we start and when we finish. This is also really important. These are the important dates for spring 2024 for the college. So this is put out through admissions and records, so it tells you all the relevant important dates for the semester that you need to be aware of. So certain deadlines for registration, for drop, for late drop, for withdrawing with getting your money back, and what the due date is when you won't get your money back. So these are things you really want to pay attention to and know throughout the semester. Okay. And then the syllabus is here for the class, which I'll come back to in a minute. The course roadmap is here, which is really the last page of the syllabus. And basically, it's the weekly assignments page, so it shows you from week to week the things that you need to get done all throughout the entire semester. And even though 16 weeks seems like a long time, we'll be zooming in a hurry because in a couple of weeks we'll be in March, and then March will zoom through and we'll be in April, then April zoom, then we're in May, and then done. So it goes really fast, even though it may not seem like it. The spring is a very, very fast semester. There will be a couple of times in the semester where I will be gone, and but it has nothing to do with the online courses. But for those who might want to meet with me on a Wednesday, where I'll be out on conferences because of my roles and responsibilities on campus. I'm not only the professor, but I'm academic senate president of the college, which means I'm responsible for all the faculty and other folks, and I also do stuff at the state of California for the California Community College system. So I wear a lot of hats, and so I'm pretty busy a lot of the time. Below here, you'll see there are links to a student study site, which has all kinds of really cool stuff for you to be able to look at. It has flashcards and chapter overviews for every single chapter of the book. Excuse all the airplanes flying over all of a sudden. I think the Super Bowl was going on today. Oh wait, yeah, the Super Bowl is going to go on today. Seems like it's busier than usual. There's a textbook overview here, which tells you about the various textbooks. And as I told you, there are three of them, three editions. Of course, the third edition is the newest. I don't care which edition you get. The only thing I will tell you is do not get the Advantage edition. Just get a regular book. Try to find a used book as cheap as you can. You can use Amazon. You can use Chegg. You can Google the books and see if you can find a really cheap edition to utilize. It'll be fine for this particular class. So do take advantage of that. I think the book is great. And by the way, you cannot pass the class without the book. There's just too much work that you have to cover and you need to have for the book in order to get through the class. But the book is really readable. It's a fun book. It's cheap, but it's visual. And it really operates in the mechanism from the standpoint of giving you the basics about American government. It doesn't try to inundate you with a whole lot of stuff. It just gives you the basics. And I love that about this particular book. Also, the discussions, I said, are the heart and soul of the class. So I have a video to talk about the discussions. There's actually a couple of them, how to do the discussions. And then there's some important information here. Then there's some sample posts. And then again, I have here, this is week 2 of the orientation. Again, it's a 2-week orientation, getting to know each other, which is extra credit for that. And you get up to 10 points for that. And then here's the student resources. So if you have any things you want to be able to ask questions about, like time, here's time management, contacting me, office hours, my bio's in here if you want to know something more about me. It's all laid out inside here as well. And then after that, we get into the heart and soul of the class. And I've structured each week, these weeks, starting with week 3, um, with the same way. So it's the chapter overview, the resources, the assignments, and that's the way every single week is done that way. And again, the dates are noted on here, so you can always click, if you're not sure, you can always click in and let it tell you when to do. So for example, if I click on quiz 1, it'll tell you when it's due, when it's available. And so you'll have an idea. And even though you'll see here it says June 7th, because I leave it open, so even though it's due by this date, you still have access to it until June 7th, to the last day of class. So for those of you who are straggling for some reason, which I hope most of you won't, you'll still get some credit for it after the due date. And then the discussion's the same way. Again, it just tells you the dates of the discussion, so you'll know when they're due. For every chapter, I know I'm not doing this in order, but it's okay. So for chapter resources, you've got your PowerPoints, which I think is a great way to start if you don't have the book yet. Even though I encourage you to get the book ASAP, if you don't have the book yet, this is where you want to start with the chapter resources. And the PowerPoints give you a great overview of every chapter in the book. But you can't just rely on it by itself, so don't do that. Also, the chapter videos. Here is a place where I try to bring to life the concepts of the chapters that we're talking about. So I take it from what you're reading in the book, which is sort of theoretical or analytical, to like a real life interpretation of what you're reading in the chapter. I really like the videos. I encourage you to go through them because they're really a lot of interest and will help you understand the most important part of the class, which is why are you in this class and what's important about you being a citizen. I would argue that this particular class is one of the most important you'll ever take in college because it's the one class that will tell you why it's important for you to know to vote, who you're voting for, to vote intelligently, because ultimately you don't have a democracy if you don't vote. You might have to put a crown on the guy's head and call him a king unless we're going to be actively engaged. Also recognizing that when we're not, we're the cause of our own demise because we don't take advantage of and hold our leaders accountable. And then the chapter overview here, again, there's a list of learning objectives for the class for that particular chapter. And then my lecture, which is a video lecture, is built in here as well. And those are basically, that's the essence of the class. That's everything you would have to do. And every week is set up the same way. So I try to make sure that everyone knows exactly the roadmap they're on. Chapter 3 is a 2-week chapter. And that's important for you to know because it's arguably, I would say, one of the most important aspects of the book because we talk about the history of race and racism. We talk about other isms as well, feminism, and we cover a lot of different stuff in that week. So do be aware of that. Then we get into the legislative branch. We get into the executive branch. We have spring break. Then we have the executive branch. We get into the judicial branch and all the rest of it. But they're all structured the same way. So you'll see that the format is laid out so it's easy for you to follow. You can ignore them. There is no midterm paper, so don't worry about that. I'll move that out of the way. So don't panic when you see that. It'll be gone, and when we get out of this orientation. The last thing I'll show you is the syllabus, and I'll click on it for a second. You can download it here. You should definitely take a look at it because it is a binding contract between you, the student, and me, the professor, of my expectations of you. And basically just an overview of the class. Tells you about the outcomes expected, your course objectives. It goes through, tells you about what book we're using. Again, any addition is fine. How to reach me when we have office. So when you want to meet with me via Zoom, you just click here and it'll take you right into you can click here or you can click on my office hours in the module that we just looked at, and we can take care of it either way. Also the grades, which are probably most important to you. Here's the grade summary breakdown for what it takes to get an A, a B, a C, a D, or hopefully never an F, hopefully never a D either, but you at least know what I'm expecting of you in terms of about the work you're doing. Academic honesty, of course, do not plagiarize in your discussions or any of that stuff. It's really important that the work be your own. That's your academic integrity, and it's really important. And if you cheat, then bad things happen, including bad karma. So don't do that. Etiquette, really important also. This is how you, when you disagree with somebody, even in your discussion, you disagree with what somebody's saying, I expect you to be completely respectful of their opinions, even if they might be crazy and lunatic. I'm being funny when I say that, but if you have a differing opinion of some other people and they have a differing opinion of you, just be respectful in how you can disagree. The disagreeing is perfectly fine, but just do it in a respectful manner. Um, and I will hold you accountable for that. So please be aware of that. And then below there, again, the link to student resources. And then below there is the course roadmap, again, from week to week, so you know what's due and what's going on from week to week. Like in week two, um, like I say, you'll be able to, if you want to jump ahead and start dabbling, looking at the first chapter, please do. You don't have to hesitate to jump in and look around and start the process. I just want to make sure you don't get too far ahead in the class, so the other classmates are left behind, or you're way out in front and no one else is there. So do please keep that in mind. And with that, I think I'm pretty much done. I just wanted to give you a little bit of overview, and hope you guys will enjoy the class and get something out of it, and learn some things that are going to make you a more valuable and important citizen. All right? All right, guys. Have a great day.